Hi everyone, today I thought I would do an ageless, timeless makeup look. So something that anyone could wear and everyone can wear. Because it's this time of year as well, I think we're either trying to extend our summer glow, or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you're starting to get in the mood for summer. So I am also going to focus a little bit on bringing the glow back to the skin or maintaining it. And I have a beautiful model today. Her name is Virge and she's a model and actress. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with some moisturiser, and this is the Release, the sensitive skin version. And this has been an old favourite of mine for many years. I'm just going to do a light layer of this because I've got some SPF and a little bit of primer to use as well. Just going to do a light facial massage.
I remember doing something for the Sanctuary where they showed you how to put it on using this prayer motion when you're supposed to
yes, like... Yeah, I think whatever feels good, honestly. It's really, it's good to kind of really work that jawline and all around the sides of the nose and around the eyes. But I think if it feels good...
And what's your feeling about neck?
Dragging the skin, always moisturise and put everying on there.
Yes.
Any treatments that you use, whether it be a night treatment, a face mask. Just keep going down. I think it's essential.
So do you think neck cream is something that is
not really?
I wouldn't just use the same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother to buy anything separate. I think it's, I use the same products all over. I'm going to use this SPF as well. This is my favourite kind of everyday SPF, which I discovered when I was in Japan one time. And I just love this because it
smells nice.
It's moisturising, but it never interferes with makeup, which is why I love it so much. Like, it works really well underneath makeup. Not all of them do. And it's not too shiny, but it's also not too matte. It's something in the middle. And you do need to put plenty of this on. It is SPF 50, but you need to get a really good layer on there. And I use it across my eyelids as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Not too close to the lash line, but I always, once there's just a little bit left on my fingers, then I just take it across, and I've not had a problem with
rather than a separate eye cream.
Yeah, because I want it to be protective, and I want that SPF protection on the eyelids, because obviously eyelids are very thin and they're susceptible to the sun particularly.
I remember years ago being on a job at the top of a mountain, but in May, so the sun was very strong, and I burnt my parting of my hair. And what can you do about that?
Nothing.
You can't put sun cream
on
your parting. It was the most shocking thing. You think, why have I done this? And it's just, being in the sun all day.
So I'm just blending the SPF right down onto your chest area.
Lovely.
Neck and chest. Now, we don't want many more layers, but I'm just going to put a tiny bit of primer, which is the Liquid Silk Canvas. And I'm just going to put this here and there, just as an extra smooth before I use any makeup. So particularly around eyes, just to hold any makeup in place in this crazy heat we're having. And you can use this one on eyelids as well.
Do you find you would adjust what you would do makeup-wise because of the heat?
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Is it to do with the preparation, and then if you get that bit right, it should stay?
Yeah, I think that when it's as humid as it is now and hot, I think that anything you can do just to help the makeup stay on. I think a lot of it's application though as well, really. Just applying those thin layers and really blending well.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I get the right layers on, and everything's very well blended, then makeup should stay on. A little bit around mouth area. Anywhere where makeup traditionally kind of moves around. So around the corners of the nose, corners of mouth, chin area. I'm going to start with a touch of highlighter just underneath foundation.
I don't think I've ever used highlighter.
Oh, it's nice. I think it's nice when it's not too glittery.
Right.
And it's just a little bit more glowy, I'd say, rather than blinging highlight.
Mm.
It's just, it just brings light into the face in the areas that you want it to be.
Oh, I see.
So I'm not even being too prescriptive or fussy, just getting it on over the cheekbones really. And I can always add a touch here and there afterwards, but I like to just start with a thin amount just on the cheeks there. And then the next product I'm going to use is the Double Wear Sheer. So this is more almost like a tinted moisturizer, but it is also long wearing. So this should be great actually for this hot weather. I'm going to use quite a big buffing brush. This is slightly deeper than your face, but it'll be a nice bridge between face and body. I'm also going to just take it down onto your neck as well. And this does say that it's SPF 20, but I wouldn't rely on that in its own right. It's good that we did the SPF 50 first, because you can never quite get enough makeup on really to do the job of SPF. So I always think kind of ignore it if it says it's in a tinted moisturizer or it's in foundation, because you're not likely to be able to get firstly enough on, or you might not put it on evenly. Whereas if you really focus on using that SPF first before you do your makeup, you know that it's covering everything and it's the right level.
I would never have thought to go down to the neck.
Yeah, I'm doing it really for camera because I'm trying just to show that...
Trying to match me.
Yeah, we've got a kind of... Because you've got such a good tan on your body, which is beautiful. And you've obviously been very good with your SPF because your face is a lot lighter. So you're doing the right thing. But then sometimes it's good to warm up a little bit.
Absolutely.
I mean, we don't have to do it too much at the moment because I'm going to use some bronzer as well. But I'm just almost creating a link between face and body.
Does it go on better with a brush?
This kind of texture, when it's really thin like this, I quite like this sort of a brush. It's almost like kind of, what should we say, like smoothing it on. But fingers work just as well, honestly, if you prefer. But I do quite like a big brush with this sort of texture. So next we're going to use some cream bronzer. This is quite golden, so this will again just bring together face and body. I'm going to use this just to shape a little bit round, so forehead, coming round onto cheeks. You can dust a little bit over eyelids and just blend. This is just a really nice way of bringing the warmth into the face without still looking as if you've got quite natural makeup on, so hardly any makeup. A little bit onto the jawline. Again, this is great, especially if you have that little bit at the front of your neck that's often very, very light compared to everywhere else. The bit that never catches the sun, you know, under the chin.
Yes.
It's really good.
So easy to forget.
Yeah. And then just build up slowly. You can take it off on the back of your hand from the brush so that when you go in you haven't got as much. It's easier to add more. And the other thing you can do is just keep a brush handy which maybe is completely clean, doesn't have anything on at all, and use that as your main blending brush. Quite extravagant to have all these extra brushes, but I love a clean brush for going in and buffing over. You just can't beat it. So a little bit more again.
Would you say that bronzer is more of a summery thing? Does it look odd in the winter, or is that too simplistic?
Yeah, I think it depends on the shade that you're using, because a little bit of warmth obviously can look great in the winter as well if it's not orangey and it fits with your skin tone really well. And I just think it can work all year round as long as you get the tones right. You almost want something that is adding a touch of warmth rather than tan in the winter.
Yes, yeah.
And that would be something that just wouldn't have that, depending on your skin tone, obviously it has to blend in. Something that you put on and you feel like it sort of melts into your skin, you're usually on the right track.
Yeah.
And then just even on the eyelids there, it's almost like enough eye makeup sometimes if you don't want to do anything else. We are going to do other things today just because we want to have fun, but if I was just doing a quick look on you, I'd probably just use the bronzer and then use a little bit of eyeliner, mascara, and you'd be set to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of putting it on eyes. It's interesting. But then why not?
Yeah.
Your earrings, little lipstick.
Yeah.
Just noticed. They're brilliant.
Thank you. I actually make them. Well,
No.
I don't personally make them, but yeah, they're made in Cornwall, and this guy makes them for me. And I make all different colours to match, like pink lipstick and my velvet ribbon. I forget which one I've got in now. I think it's the velvet morning one. Is it an
Wonderful.
orangey red?
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's become like when I'm trying to think of things, because the lipstick goes up and down as well.
That's brilliant. You can fiddle.
Yeah, I really fiddle with it. Yeah, it's like a worry bead.
That's funny.
So I'm also going to add some pink blush, and this is a cream as well. So you can see it's just quite a fresh pink. And I think this is just really nice when you've used bronzer, just to lift the skin. So do you use much makeup yourself on a...
Do you know...
If you're not working, I mean...
No, I don't. And it sounds awful, but in lockdown, I just stopped wearing makeup completely.
Yeah.
And then it's the strangest thing. You get used to your face without it. Whereas
Now
in
when
the
you put it
past, you'd
on.
go, oh, look at my face. So I do. And obviously, I have to put it on for work and, you know, that sort of thing. And so you do. But, and I think I never got past that thing when I first started out, when you go to work and have a lot of makeup on and then you couldn't wait to get home and take it all off.
Oh, yeah.
So it's something about being at home and not having makeup on.
Yeah.
I think that's the connection. And then obviously because we were all at home, weren't we? And now we're all coming out and you think, yes, I must remember to put some
Put a
makeup
tiny
on.
bit on now and again, yeah.
So I suppose I sort of do no makeup a bit.
Yeah.
And I sort of don't really use foundation anymore.
Yeah.
I really like the
Natural
tinted
look.
moisturiser thing. Foundation can suddenly feel like a lot more.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'm just not using the right foundation.
Yeah, no, I think it's application definitely, but if you're not, this time of year, I mean, I think that kind of lighter feeling on the skin.
Yeah.
Just going to go on to under eyes, and I'm using this concealer / corrector. This is quite a nice moisturising one, so I'm just going to use it just where we need it, really. Just a thin layer, just to lift shadow, but without giving you that heavy under eye look. Come on, darling. Just going to pat that into place.
Do you find it's easier with a brush?
I do actually. I like using under eyes. A brush on fingers like this if it's sort of creamy, and then some of the ones that set.
Yeah.
I like to use a mini sponge with those ones, because you can feel like you sort of pick up some of the product, so you're not putting too much on. So this has a little bit of a peachy pink colour in it, so it just picks up any shadow there. So you did a play recently. How was that?
It was wonderful. It was very nice. It was Ladies in Lavender. It was a movie.
Yeah. I remember
with
that.
Maggie Smith and Judi Dench.
Yeah.
So if you like, I was playing Maggie Smith, and
Oh wow.
lovely actress Emily was playing my sister. It's two sisters in a house in Cornwall, and this in 1936, and there's a shipwreck, and this Polish boy sort of washes up on their shore, and they take him in and discover that he's a violinist, and it's a really charming story.
I haven't seen it. I'd like to see that. So I'm just using a tiny bit of powder here. I haven't used too much product, so I don't need to go crazy with the powder. But I'm just setting underneath the eyes, but in quite a natural way. I'm going to use a touch as well, just across your eyelids. Just close your eyes for me, because I'm going to do a wash of shadow there in a second. And then a tiny bit chin and just around your brows. I'm going to use a pencil there as well. So I'm going to just do a tiny bit of sculpting on eyes now. I'm using a matte shadow, and it's this one. If you can see it there, it's a bit of a sort of, almost like a light camel colour. Just close for me. Just for a little bit of shape, but without going too much. It's more of a sculpting thing than an eyeshadow thing, if that makes sense. So I don't want any harsh edges there. So again, I'm just feathering those edges, and it is really just giving a little bit of depth there. So this sort of makeup would be good if you were going to be photographed. So if you're going somewhere, or a party or an event, or just wanted to look good in pictures, really.
Actually leaving the house.
If you're leaving the house and you want to take a picture. So now I'm just adding a little bit of, just close for me, Virge. A little bit of eyeliner. I'm just doing it really through the lash line. This is just not necessarily to look like an eyeliner, but more to give some density to lashes. And I'm using a chocolate brown eyeshadow, just with a small brush, just to blend that in and almost push it in a little bit more into the roots of the lashes. Just open your eyes, Virge, and look that way for me. Look down a little bit. And then just using the powder, take that into the inner corner. On both sides as well. Look that way. So just going to give your lashes a little curl.
No, it just strikes me that what's interesting, the difference between modelling and when you're doing film and television, is that for film and television you're playing a part. So obviously the makeup might not necessarily be, you might be thinking, oh, they haven't put any this on or that on, and that's not the point. You're playing a part, so the makeup is right for...
Vanity goes out the window.
Vanity goes completely... Well, and that's fine, completely used to that.
Look down there.
But it's just an odd... It's a difference,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Whereas generally, if you're booked to model, they want you to look as good as you can possibly look.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't think that you were playing a character. It's just different.
Yeah.
And kind of fun, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I guess that's why in film they call... I guess the makeup that I do is beauty makeup, because it's prettifying or beautifying makeup,
Yes, yeah,
whereas
yeah.
character makeup's obviously completely different.
Yeah.
And sometimes I laugh because my clients will tell me, oh my God, my makeup, you know, it was great for the character, but God, I felt awful, you know.
Exactly.
Big bags painted on under the eyes, and...
It's just a different brief.
Yes.
And I've been in a situation where playing a part when I was dying of cancer, and I had no makeup on at all apart from this, is it called Air Fix, where they just put very pale foundation, almost spray it on.
Oh yeah, like airbrushed makeup.
Airbrush, that's what it's called, yeah.
Oh, so you just had this sort of
that's
deathly
all
colour.
I had on.
Yeah.
But it was right for what I was doing, and,
Yeah, of course.
and it kind of helps, actually.
Yeah.
If you look, you know, they show you and you think, oh dear. But that was the point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's so interesting, that connection between makeup and character.
Yeah, absolutely.
And only in the last sort of few years I've done films, but I never had before then, and just creating characters and how it's just so important to get that character right, the makeup, the hair, the clothes.
Yes.
Because without that, the actor has nothing to kind of base it, nothing to kind of
Yeah.
hold on to, and they need to be able to walk in a certain way and look at themselves in a certain way, and I just find that really fascinating, and you can almost see the transformation in personality happening.
Yeah, it's just
when you're doing the makeup.
It's really interesting.
So I'm going to go back to this palette, which is the dark brown's the one I used from this palette for the lash line. Now I'm going to use this shade, similar to the one we used first, which is the camel colour. Look up, my darling. And I'm just going to do a little smudge through the lash line, very softly on both sides. It's just a little sweep. And then at the outer corner, I'm using the same shade that I smudged the top with. So it's a little deeper, that colour there, just ever so slightly, if you can see that. And same on this eye, just at the outer corner, and then just blending that in, so it's not really a line as such. I think it's good to keep all these lines soft, it just works better. So it's more of a suggestion, really. I'm gonna bring that deeper mid-toned brown again, just close for me. A little bit at the outer corner. So I've just started using some under eye mascara on Virge's left eye, and this is the DHC. Quite like this one for lower lashes, because it's very tiny, the brush, so you're able to really coat, and it hasn't got too much payoff, which if you're trying to really get the lashes to look quite separate, or if your lashes are a little finer on the lower line, it's quite good because it doesn't really weigh them down. Plus it is a smudge proof one. Just look the other way, there we go, look up. And then I'm just using a lighter, slightly shimmery shadow in the inner corner there. So I'm going to move on to brows, but before we do that, I'm just going to put a little bit of lip balm on, just let that sink in.
I have dry lips a lot. What's the magic answer to that?
I like using a flannel with cleansing balm or your cleanser every single night, and really just exfoliating with that, and then just making sure that you're using a lip treatment. So because some things you put on your lips and they make them look shiny, they feel really glossy, but they just sort of sits on the top.
Yeah.
It's more of a barrier cream, so you need to find a good lip balm or lip treatment, so lip masks and things like that that are quite oily and buttery, and just put a thick layer of that at night, because that way it will really,
it's at night,
you'll take all of the dead skin off with the flannel, and then just slather them up with treatment.
It's
at
a bit
night.
like feet.
Yeah, it's like feet.
Pedicurists always say put something on at night, because then it's got like 8 hours to be sitting there without being disturbed, without you moving around. Well, hopefully.
I actually believe in that. I do tend to put stuff on my feet when I go to bed.
Yeah, it does work.
Yeah, it
so
really
lips
does.
the same.
Next to the bed, lash serum,
lash serum,
brow serum, lip
just
treatment,
coat yourself
feet,
in unguents.
That's what my husband says. He says, "Have you got the creosote on?" I don't even know what creosote is, but anyway, that's the joke. So I'm just using.
I think that's the answer, though, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to put that into play.
Yeah, just give them a really good exfoliation. Just using quite an ashy tone pencil here and working it into your brow. So I'm just filling them in without making it look like there's pencil going on there. Just keeping it really natural. You can brush them down as well, which is always scary, although you've actually got a really good high point of your brows. It's quite defined. But
interesting.
If it isn't, then you can brush them down there and then brush them back up.
I never used to have to do anything to eyebrows, and then they started to sort of slightly go their own way.
They're still good though. They're in good. They're pretty tame. They're not going off in any different directions or anything, and they're even. You're lucky. There's just one little gap there, so I'm just going to fill that gap in. And then if you have a pencil, just make sure it's the right shade.
Yes.
Anything that's too warm or too deep will just look
odd.
Yeah. And keep a brush as well. An old mascara brush or a lash spoolie, and keep brushing. It just softens the pencil.
Yes.
And it works brilliantly. So I'm just putting on some individual lashes. These are the Swede lashes by Nikki Makeup, and they're really nice and light. I just put a few on so you can see the effect I'm going for. Just very kind of feathery. Just going to add a couple more. They're really, really lightweight. Just close for me. And just popping them at the... And then another one on this side. I've got about 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 on each eye now. Just open. Just going to wait for that glue to dry, and then I'll touch up the glue with a little bit of black liquid liner just so we don't see the glue. But I'm just going to leave that for a moment. So I'm going to do a touch of lip pencil. I'm going to use this defining pencil by my mate Vicky B, Victoria Beckham. So this is a slightly, it's almost like a browny pink colour. It's going to look a little bit dark in the beginning, but it's going to really work, I think, just for getting a kind of natural shadow almost around the lip. Just blending it as I go. Yeah, this is going to be great. Then just smile slightly. That's great, thank you. Take this over your lips as well. Just so it doesn't look like a solid line. I think that's definitely the trick with lip liner. Kind of almost teasing this edge just ever so slightly over, but not to look like a big overdrawn lip. And then just part your lips slightly, just get into the inner corner. Great. Just using a little bit of concealer just to blend those edges. Just going to go back in with the cream bronzer. Just at the outer edges, really, of the kind of top of the cheekbones there. And a final swirl of pink blush.
Sounds like a recipe.
Yeah, it is a recipe. Makeup is a recipe. It's what it feels like sometimes. So I never really have a plan when I'm doing makeup, even when I'm supposed to have a plan. If you're doing a kind of job and they say, what's the makeup going to be like? I'm like, roughly like this. But then until you're kind of in the flow and you're working on a face and
exactly,
the magic happens in the last 5 minutes of makeup, when all of the elements start to come together and you make all the adjustments so that one thing fits with something else, and you know, all those little things that you don't really do as you're going along. Like, we're going to add a little bit of brow gel now, and then might put a touch more mascara on. Going to finish with a touch of lip gloss. All those things are what kind of makes the makeup, I think.
the garnish.
The garnish, yeah. We're seasoning. Adding the seasoning now. Just look down for me. Just going to put a tiny bit of mascara through those lashes, and I just need to touch on the roots of the lashes, just where we had our glue. Just look down for me. This just really helps to blend them in, and you should always use a matte product when you're doing this, because it just takes the shine off. Tiny bit of powder, and then we'll do some gloss on your lips. let your hair down actually before I gloss you up. Yes, I'm going to try a little, let me see, do I want a pale gloss? Pink. I think maybe a pale one. I'm trying to try Songbird. This is more of a kind of peachy, pinky brown colour. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I found a mirror. Here you go, have a look.
Oh, wonderful.
Sorry, you hold it.
Thank you. That looks wonderful.
Like it?
I love the lip colour. And I love the eyes. That's amazing.
Yeah, nice and defined, but ready for your night out. Are you going out? You
What
are
do you
now.
think?
No, you have to.
Amazing.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you're gorgeous, so
Oh,
really it was nothing. Because just bringing out your natural beauty, because you're stunning. Just a little water eye there. There we go. Sorry, tortured your eyes.
it's all right.
But yes, that's
Forgiven.
a finished look.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's kind of glam, but hopefully doesn't feel like you're wearing too much makeup.
No,
Beautiful.
no, you've done a wonderful job.